How many consistent and profitable strategies do you have in your trading arsenal? I got this new strategy from Trading Rush about Keltner Channel. And before you go ahead and watch the video directly, I'll quickly explain the strategy. Then we automate together, backtest together, and we do some optimization to explore the best way to use the strategy. Then we conclude if the strategy is truly profitable with relatively low drawdown, as the video says, and if we should give the strategy a chance for demo trading. Let's get into the video. So according to him, we need the Keltner channel. So how can we get this? Under your navigator, and if you do not have your navigator, you can just go for view and navigator, and under your navigator go for indicators, and under indicators you can find your Keltner channel on free indicators, and under free indicators you can see Keltner channel. So I will double click or drag into the chart. Then under the input you can see this is the default, so I'll leave it on default, but I think he used ATR of 1, so let me try that. I'll say okay. So I think that is giving a better result. He said for trend filter we should try to use 200 EMA, so I will add 200 EMA. So under trend I'll get my moving average, which is this, then 200. So I'll change this to maybe yellow, since I already have a yellow line here. So I'll just say okay. So you can see this is my trend line. So now he said we should only buy when the market is above the exponential moving average, then we should only sell when the market is below the exponential moving average. So how do we do that? Then what next? You can see this blue line is the upper trend line, and this gray line is the middle line, and this red line is the lower Keltner line, right? So it is more like a Bollinger Band, right? But it is not exactly a Bollinger Band. So now he said we should buy whenever we realize that there is a candle that opens above the upper Keltner line and closes above the Keltner line, right? So for example, look at this one, this particular candle. You can see it is opening below the Keltner line, but it is closing above. So this is not what it's talking about. But if you go to the right hand side of the candle, which is this, you realize that this candle is opening and closing above the Keltner line. So this is a valid buy signal. So we are supposed to buy when this candle is fully formed, which is at this point, right? So we are supposed to buy here, then right to the end. So let's assume we are trading here where this candle is closing above and opening above the upper Keltner. So we are supposed to buy here, right? Then where are we supposed to place our stop loss? We are supposed to place our stop loss on the lower Keltner line, which is this point. Then we are supposed to use take profit of reward to risk, or we are supposed to trail. So if our stop loss is here, which is 453 pips, and if you have to take 1-to-1, if you have to take profit at 1-to-1, so we should have taken profit around maybe here, right? And that would have been a profitable trade. And of course we are going to be buying only above the moving average. Let's quickly get the sell case. All right, for the sell case you can see we are currently below the exponential moving average, and this candle is closing and opening below the lower Keltner. So this is a valid sell case, right? So then our stop loss will be on the upper Keltner line, and we are supposed to take profit at reward to risk, maybe 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, or we are supposed to just leave it to trail until the market reverses, right? So that is the condition. Apart from that, you realize that some candle often close and open on the lower Keltner, which give the sell signal, and do so on the upper Keltner, which gives the buy signal. Now, how do we filter this out? Let's assume we have a trade here and maybe we get stopped out for one reason or the other. Are we supposed to enter a new position here and here and here and here and here? No. Why not just do this? We are going to enter a buy position only if we confirm that the last time there was a close and opening outside the upper Keltner or the lower Keltner. Opening and closing was done as a sell signal, ignoring the exponential moving average. For example, this would have been a valid sell because the last closing and opening outside the Keltner was done as a buy case. So yes, this is a valid sell signal because the last time the candle opened and closes outside the Keltner boundary, it was done outside the upper Keltner, right? So now let's assume we close our position somewhere around here, and of course this should have been a valid sell signal, but because the last time a candle closes and opens outside the Keltner. It was not done above the upper Keltner line. So that means this is no longer valid. These signals are no longer valid until we have a buy signal. Let's assume we took our trade here and we maybe for one reason or the other we close our position. This won't be a valid sell signal because the last time the candle closes outside the Keltner lines, it was done still on the sell case until this particular situation happened. When the candle open and close above the upper Keltner line, we won't be considering any sell signal, and that is that. So once again, we are going to buy when we are above the 200 exponential moving average. Then we are going to buy when the candle closes and open above the upper Keltner line, which is this blue line. Our stop loss will be on the lower Keltner line, which is this red line. Then we take profit at reward to risk, or we trail until the market reverses. And for the sell case, we are going to sell when we are below the lower Keltner line, right? Then we are going to sell when we are when the candle open and closes below the lower Keltner line, which is this red line, right? And our stop loss will be the upper Keltner line, and our take profit will be based on reward to risk, or we trail until the market reverses. So that is all we'll be doing for today. I'll see you in the automation part. So I'll create a new file. So I'll say Control N or Command N if you are on Mac. Then I'll select Expert Advisor. I'll say Next. I'll give it a name. I'll say Keltner. Keltner Channels EA. Right? So I'll say Next. Finish. Then I'll clean this up. So what are the things we need from the user? So first thing first, we need the magic number. So I'll say magic number, which is 416. So this can be a random number, right? But it must be unique for every EA that you are using on a particular account. So say magic number. Then I need to specify the lot size for each position or trade. So I'll say lot size. Then what else do I need? I need to know the best time frame to use this particular strategy on, right? So I'll make it available so that I'll be able to backtest. So that I'll be able to optimize for this. So I'll say time frame. Then what should be my reward to risk? So I can say reward to risk. So in the case where I want to use reward to risk, or I want to trail, so I'll be able to specify reward to risk. Reward to risk. Then do I want to trail, right? So I'll say true by default, right? Use trailing. I want the user to specify the label or the comment for each trade or position. So I'll say for string, this Keltner Channels EA. So I'll say change comment. So another thing I need is I want the setting for the Keltner to be available for all the users, so that in case where people are not fine with the default, you can always work on it. You can always change the setting. So before I do that, I would like to group this, so I can just group this as a general setting. Then I will have another group for the Keltner setting. Oops. So Keltner. Then what are the settings I want? So I want the period of EMA, which is 20. Period of EMA. Then I want period of ATR, which is 10. Period of ATR. Then I want ATR multiplier, which is 1 by default. Of course, the default is 2, but I want it to be 1 because I think he used 1 in the video. So I will say, then show price level, show price of level. So by default it will be true. So I will say show price of level. So I would say this store it in this handle called Keltner, right? I also need another one for my moving average, which is my filter moving average. So you know what? Let me make this available as well. So in case where you have a better period for the filter moving average, so I can see moving average settings. Then I will say any period of 200 any period. Then for the method, any method. So this will be exponential, and for the price, apply price. Any price. This will be price close. So before I go ahead, I would like to add these include files from trade class. MHC trade. So I'll get this as well from the trade class, which is the position info. MQH. Oops. This position info. Right. So now for the trade, I will use it to say whenever a position or an order is created by this EA, please assign this magic number, right? So that is that. And for the Keltner, so I can say Keltner, it is a costume indicator, right? Then what time frame? This time frame specified by the user. What is the name of the indicator? You know what? We need to specify that. Oh, let me quickly bring up my navigator. So you can get your navigator from view and navigator. And under here, you can go for indicator, and under indicator, you can need to go for free indicator to confirm the name. So I'll just say from free indicators, indicators, get me the Keltner, Keltner channel EX5. So that's and I need to specify the settings so that it won't use the default. So I'll say period of EMA, period of ATR multiplier, then show this, and that's all I need. Then I need to specify for the MA. So I will say MA for this chart symbol, for this time frame specified, and what period for the MA period specified by the user, and the shift of 0, the MA method specified by the user, and the MA price specified by the user, right? Now, I love having my logic in a function, so I can simply say Keltner channels, right? So I'll copy this. It will return nothing. So first thing first, I want to make sure that I only try to search for position whenever there is no open position. So how do I know if there is no open position? So I'm going to write a function that returns the last position index. So I'll store whatever the function is going to return in this variable, and this is the name of the function, last position index. So this function is going to do what? It's going to return the index of the last position. And how is it going to do that? It's going to look through all the open position on the account, right? Starting from the last one. Then it's going to select each position by the index. And if it is able to successfully select the position, it's going to compare the position symbol with the chart symbol and the position magic number with the magic number specified by the user. If this comparison is correct, it's going to return the position index. And in case where after looking through everything, it is not able to get a position that match or that is created by this EA and for this chart symbol, it's going to return negative 1, meaning there is no open position. So now, in the case where there is no open position, right? So we are going to search for trade. Search for trade. And in the case where it is able to get position, we are going to manage position. E.g., maybe trail. So how do you search for trade? It is as simple as the candle opening and closing above the upper Keltner line and the candle being above the 200 period moving average, right? So that is what we need, right? So I can simply say, let me first get my upper Keltner line values, the exponential line, the exponential moving average values. So I can say for the upper K, I'll just call it, okay, should I call it K? Okay, let me call it Keltner, right? I'll store it here. Copy buffer from this angle. So what is the buffer for the upper Keltner line? So let's quickly check. So you can see this is the upper Keltner, which is probably 0, and this is the lower Keltner, which is probably 2, right? So I can say 0, starting from 0. And you know what? Just get me maybe 2 of the values, then store it here, right? So that is that. Also, let me quickly get for the lower Keltner, because I'm very sure I will need it for the sell case. So I'll just say lower Keltner. So I'll copy buffer as well from this same handle, but for buffer 2, 0, start from 0. Then I want just 2 values. Then dump it here. Then I want to sort my array, right? Oops, array. So I'll say upper Keltner, yes, sort it, and I'll sort this as well. So lower Keltner, please sort it. Then let me quickly get my moving average values, right? So I'll say copy buffer, handle LA, then buffer of 0, start from 0. You know what? I just want 2 as well. Then dump the values here. I want to sort this as well. So I'll say sort this, please. Now I need to get the close and the open of the previous candle. I close for this chart symbol, this time frame, and for the previous candle, right? Then I will say, oops. Then I will say, I want to get the open of the previous candle as well. So now, if the previous candle opened above the upper Keltner line of the previous candle, right, and the previous candle closes above this same upper line, upper Keltner line, right, and you confirm that this close was done above, this candle closes above the moving average, right, we should consider buying. But want to make sure that the previous signal was a sell signal. So how do we do that? We are going to write a function that returns the last signal. So you know what? I'll say this position type last direction. So I'll say get last direction. So how do we do this? Let's quickly write this. So it will return the last position, the last position type. So I'll say this. So let's quickly copy this, right? So I'll copy this here. Okay, then how many do we want? Let's quickly define bars. I say bars. Of course, we won't be looking through all the bars, but you know what? For safety reasons, I'll just say bars for this time frame, right? Then minus the period of the moving average, this particular period specified by the user in the Keltner setting, right? So this. So what I'm trying to do is that. So let's go for a time frame with limited number of candles. So I'll just go back to my time frame, or maybe monthly time frame. You can see. Now, remember, let's quickly recall what the period is. You can see the period is 20. Now, if you have to scroll back to the end, now you can see that the last 21 candle, you can see, does not have these Keltner lines. And that is because it is unable to calculate for this last candles. So that is why I have to say, whatever the total number of candles is on the chart, minus the period specified, so that we won't jump into an error when we are trying to get the value for this, because of course they do not have any value. So that is why I have to specify that, right? Now I can say look through starting from I equals to, right? Then increment by 1 each time. So quickly get the open and the close of each bar. So I can say open of this, and of this bar. Get the close as well. Close, right? Of this chart symbol, this time frame, and of this bar. So if this candle open above the upper Keltner line, right, and closes above this upper Keltner line, it is going to return position type of buy, right? And in the case where the candle open and closes below the lower Keltner line, right? Lower Keltner line. So it is going to return that, oh, the last direction was of type sell, right? So, and that is it. And in the case where it is unable to retrieve any, you can just return maybe -1, Hopefully we can do that. Oops. Let's see. We have an error on 71. So 71. Okay, this error. So let me just say that compile. Okay, so we can return -1. So that's good. So we can say if the last direction, we can just put that here. If the last direction is of position type sell, right? Is of position type sell, that is when we should even consider this. And after considering it and it is true, we can then buy, right? Now, in the case where the last direction is of position type buy, right? And the candle open and closes below the lower Keltner of the previous candle, right? Lower Keltner of the previous candle, and the candle closes below the moving average. That means the candle is below the moving average, right? We should consider a sell. So it is as simple as that. So now, what should be our stop loss for the buy? So you can see stop. That should be the lower Keltner of the previous candle. That should be our stop loss for the buy. For the buy. Then, what should be our take profit? We can say our take profit should depend on trading. If we are using trading, our take profit should be 0. And in the case where we are not using, we are not interested in using trading, we can say our take profit should be the ask price plus XL, which is the distance between the stop loss and the ask price. You know what? Let me quickly define the XL, which is this ask minus the stop loss, right? Then let me quickly define my ask price. So I can say ask price chart symbol info. Symbol info W. For this chart symbol, then get me the ask price. This symbol info W. This symbol beat. So that is that. Then multiply by reward to risk. So that should be our take profit. So I can simply say send out my by buy case. So I can say using the lot size specified by the user for this chart symbol. Then for this price, which is the ask price, and what should be the stop loss? The stop loss should be this, and this should be the target, and this should be the trade comment. And in the case where you are not able to send this successfully, please tell me the reason why. Print order send error. Get last error. So that is that. For the sell case, Stop loss for the sell should be the upper Keltner line, right? Then I need to know the gap between the stop loss and the bid price. Then what should be the target? The target should be 0 if trading is set to true. Then in the case where trading is not set to true, the target should be this XL multiplied by reward. Then please try to send out my my sell trade using the lot size specified by the user for this chart symbol, and buying, and selling with the bid price. This should be the stop loss, this should be the target, and this should be the trade comment. And in the case where this is not successful, tell me the reason why it is not successful. So that is that. Now I need to trade. So before I can consider trading, I need to confirm if the user wants to use trading. Then, if true, I want to select the last position, and this is the index of the last position, which we are getting from this particular function, right? After selecting that, if we realize that the position, you know what, before we do that, let's quickly get values like the entry price of the position. You can say P price. Then I want to get the current price as well, price current. Then what else? I want to get the old stop loss or the current stop loss, so I can say P price, stop loss. So if, okay, P info position type is of buy, right? And we realize that the gap between the current price, which is the bid price or the potential price at which you can close the buy position, and the stop loss is times 2 of the gap between the initial stop loss. So let's say this minus stop loss is times 2 or equal to this. So now, instead of defining and initializing here, we are going to define somewhere in a global scale. We are going to copy this and remove this. In case where you are familiar with my videos, you realize that this is how we are meant to do it, but because I do not want to confuse you, so that is why I initially try to declare and initialize at the same time here. So now this is available in a global scale. Once this is assigned, to store it and to keep it until we are trying to manage our position, and it will never change until we are trying to enter a new position. So if that is the case, we are going to assign a new stop loss, new XL, which is the current price, the current minus XL. Then we are going to say trade position, position modified, this, and what should be the stop loss? The stop loss should be new XL, and the previous take profit, which is of course 0. And in case where we are dealing with sell, position type of sell, position type sell, and you realize that the gap between the old stop loss and the current price is greater or equal to times 2 of the initial gap. So what should be our new XL? Our new XL should be the current price plus this XL. Then we can simply say, you know what, let me just copy this. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So that is that. I think we should be good to go. So I'll just save and compile. I'll save and compile. Then we shall compile in the right way. Okay, we are good to go. We have no error. So I'll pop on my desktop. So which is this? So I will change this to my EA. Then I'll be backtesting on gold on 5-minute time frame. You know what? Let me just change this to since we just want to backtest for now. So $500 deposit. Then we set this to disable because we only want to backtest now. So let's go back to the input. and I think we should be good to go. Or you know what? Let's set this to false at first. Then, okay, let's start our back test. So I will remove the grid and I'll try to increase this speed. Okay, you can see we should have had a buy position here, but all right, we should have had a buy position here, but I think there's a problem. So let's go back to the journal. Okay, let's go back to line 126. So we have to go back to line 126, which is somewhere around here. Okay, okay, I think this is the problem. Oh, we did not specify that we want this number of values. We only specified that we want 2, and that's because we copy and pasted from from the main one, which is this. So that is the problem. We should have said, do not just get 2, get the number of bars available. This is what we should have done, right? And let's do this again. So I'll just save and compile, and I think we should be good to go. Okay, we have no error. You can see that is a runtime error, right? So let's start again. Okay, I'll go back to I'll remove this grid. Okay, we are still not having a position. I don't know why. So we are still not having a position, and that is because the last time the candle opened and closes outside the Keltner line, it was still done on the buy side. So now that is why we are not having a position. So let me just increase this, then we wait. You can see that here we had a candle that opens and closes below the lower Keltner line, and here the candle opens and closes above the upper Keltner line, but of course we were knocked out. So maybe what we should have done is, instead of saying closing and opening, why not just say when it is touching? So let me quickly do that. The last direction should be given, not just by the opening and closing, just touching is fine. So I'll change this to low, which is high low. Now change this to high, which is high high. So I'll say if the high is higher or equal to the upper Keltner, so that I want to consider it as a buy, and this way it is lower or equal, so I want to consider it as a sell. So that's what I'll be doing instead. So I'll just save and compile, because it's taking too long to enter a position that should have gone into profit. So I'll just start again. So let me start again. You know what? Let's just remove this extra filter. this one, let's just remove it so that we have a faster entry, and we'll be sticking to the instruction given by the owner of the strategy, so which is this, and I'll remove this. So I'll just save and compile. Hopefully the strategy works. So alright, so we have a position here, and that is because we are above the moving average, and the candle open and closes above the blue line, which is the upper Keltner line, Keltner channel. So you can see we are trading as well, and we are out of the trade. So that's that. So I think it's working fine. So let me just zoom out. So you can see we trade and we entered a new position here, then we trade as well. So we should have entered the sell position, but because we were below the Bollinger Band, I mean we were below the potential moving average, and let's see. So we have started trading. Oops, we were knocked out. So that's that. So I think we are good to go. But let's see one more position to confirm the correctness of the video. Then we move into optimization. Okay, now we are above the exponential moving average. If it closes above it, we are expecting a buy. Yes, we are having a buy, and started trading. Oops, let's see. I don't think the trading is working. So oops, we are using take profits. I'm surprised. Oh, I've forgotten we added take profits. Forgetting we turned off our trading. Okay, you know what? Let me just close this. Since we've seen that, okay, it is setting our take profit to 2-1. You can see 2-1. I thought it was trading. So you know what? Let me just use this, and I'll change this back to true, and I'll start again. So I'll remove the grid. I will increase the speed, and let's see. Okay, now it is trailing. It is trailing. Oops, we're knocked out. And you know what? Maybe to make this faster, we are only going to check when there is a new bar. So how do we know when there is a new bar? You know what? I'll add this. Okay, let me have it here. So I'll say last check bar. So copy this. Say after checking. Okay, you know what? At this point, just say this. I time this bar, which is 0. Then I will say if this equals I bar, if you've checked this bar before, just return that, oh, I do not need to check again. I'll wait until there is a new bar. So I believe that should make the backtest faster. So I'll just start again. I'll remove the grid, and okay, the backtest, yes, you can see the backtest is now faster. So if I try to increase, you see it is trailing. Okay, you can see the backtest is now faster. Yes, the backtest is now faster. Instead of trying to look for trade every tick. Okay, I think you are good to go. Yes, this is perfect. This will even make our optimization faster. Okay, the training is also good. Okay, so I think we are good to go. So I'll just close this so that we can optimize. So I will increase this. I will increase this. Then I'll change this to 2022. Then I'll change this to fast. Oops, change this to fast. Then using this deposit, go for my input. Then I want to save time frame. I want to start from 5 minutes time frame. Then I will stop at 4 hours. Reward to risk. Reward start with 1.5. Then increase by 0.5 each time. Then stop at 7. Then I want to know if I should use trading or not, and I think that should be all. So I'll just click on start to see my optimization, and when the optimization is done, we are going to analyze the results again.
For days now, this is no longer moving. I think the optimization has stopped, and I'm sorry we have to stop here. And but you will have access to the source code in the description so that you will be able to do some optimization from your hand using any P of your choice, right? I'll be happy to hear what your optimization result and conclusion are in the comment section. But let's quickly go through the one that we have, the one over, I mean the 191 out of 1228. I mean out of 1280. So if you have to sort based on result, this is the highest result gotten, and this is the drawdown, which is almost 40%, followed by this, which is 3300, and the drawdown was 27.54. So if you have to sort based on drawdown, you can see this is the lowest drawdown and it gave 2000 profits, but I think we should go for this. So you can conclude that with the little result that we are able to get, so this is the drawdown, and 6 minute time frame was used, and reward to risk was 7, and trading was set to 4. So you can conclude that this is a good one, right? And in case where you are like you would like to finish up with the optimization, you can go ahead and check out the description to get the source code and do the optimization from your hand, because mine has stopped. So this has been on this 191 for days, it's no longer moving. So that will be the end of this particular video. If you like content like this, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you on the next one.